for the suppression they put directly in my life. Not just the people around me, but what they did to me and my family. And I want a new word, government side, where we kill the government. Or, well, I guess it would just be a revolution. But I would kill them for what they've done to me over this website right here. This website has, and that's all I have to say about this. I know it sounds crazy, but, when you realize that you could have been making more money than The Weeknd, but you can't because the government shat on you your entire fucking life and made your job more illegal than Pablo Escobar for no good goddamn reason at all. And you kind of get that righteous anger where you would string them up in the square. I would string them up in the square for what they've done to just my family, much less everybody else I know who's in this particular racket. I would string them up. It is full-blown, straight up to me, far worse what they've done to me personally over this digital serfdom and shit than what they thought communism was going to do to them. Because they actually did this to me. I don't know what communism did to America. But I mean, we got in a lot of wars with communist governments or whatever. But I do know that what I do does not harm America. And they treat me way worse than Pablo Escobar. Pablo Escobar was allowed to make his money. I'm not. So, yeah, fuck them. Yeah. So, yeah, the best skin scene. Fortnite skins, they get up to, West skins will get up to like 3,000, 5,000, something like that. Fortnite skins will get up to 3,000, 5,000, something like that. WoW caps out at $890 or something like that. But where the difference is you could, you very much easily could, let's look at weapons again, right? And sort by cash again, right? You easily could collect 10 billion easily too. You could easily collect 10 billion gold, which is, I don't know, $1 million US or something like that in 2 months. 2 months. It would take me 2 months to equalize basically like $1 million US, something like that. My actual job pays really fucking good money. If the government hadn't straight killed it, they can't stand the idea of a free trade or a free market. The most anti-American thing I've ever seen is the American government. And that's all I have to say about this. I've got a lot of righteous, deep-seated anger when I really actually, really, I've been thinking about doing a series of videos on my channel now on YouTube called Ophthalmals, and I didn't want to tell anybody about this because I figured it might actually be successful at some point, and I didn't want to spill the secret. But Ophthalmal is not something that hasn't been done before. I think people have done it a lot before. How I learned about it was Draw My Life, which is an exercise in drawing your own life on a pen board with a dry erase pen, like where you grew up, who your parents were, who your first love was, what losing your virginity was like, what college was like, what blah blah was like, what falling the first time was like, or whatever, on a bike or whatever. And so I want to do a Ophthalmal, which is a anachronism for a concept that I had called a frank appraisal of my own life, where I wanted to get enough clout to actually maybe get 1 million viewership on a video where I talk about what the government did to full-blown suppress me and my family directly, to the point where I envy people in Afghanistan. I envy slaves in the Civil War because their problems ended after 10 years. Mine have been going on for 25. Their problems ended eventually. You know what I'm saying? Mine has been a problem since day one, 27 years ago, and it's gonna be a problem 27 years from now, and they'll never free up the trade that I actually care about. I doubt it. I think they'll probably die first before they allow digital nerds to actually have free trade, which is why Bitcoin was such a big fucking thing. When the Ken guy who made Bitcoin stepped forward and was like, I have discovered a technology that prevents the government from being able to tell us what to do when we spend, or even detect how we spend our money. It was revolutionary because free trade is dead in America, and the most anti-American fucking thing is the American government, and the worst fascist organization in the history is not the Nazis in World War II, though they committed worse atrocities. It is the American government. The American government engages in far more suppression than the Holocaust. They have cost more lives in foreign wars, and they have suppressed more people's livelihoods and killed more dreams. And so I really do have so I would like to do a video series called A Frank Appraisal of My Own Life, where I kind of like this is an example of me practicing a way to show the world what I do and what it's worth and what the actual suppression from the American government actually was and what it did to me and my family. And I'm coming for them like more so than I think I think only the Native Americans have the sort of beef with them that I have. And I won't hurt them ever. I love them, they're my people. But I'll do a frank appraisal of my own life in a Falmo where I show the world what they actually did to me and what it costs and what the costs were. And I'll show the world what it was. Because right now, a frank appraisal of my own life was that I got shat on by fascists since the age of 18, and I was not allowed to make $1 doing what it is I loved, ever. And I hate them about as much as I hate Nazis and rapists, you know? I have more reason than most, you know? I don't want to hurt them. They're my people. But I hate them the way I hate Nazis and rapists. I hate the G. I really hate them like I hate Microsoft. They've harmed me the way that Microsoft has harmed me. And I really would like to get them, you know? Get them out of here, frankly. So, and that's my problem. Yeah, WoW has skins. They're the best skins in history because usually in WoW in Fortnite or Rust, you'll get your hands on like $800 to $3,000 skin, and you're gonna be like, "Oh my God, this was the greatest thing I've ever achieved as a gamer," and all this stuff, right? But as a WoW player, inside of 4 weeks, I can get my hands on this entire list for a fraction of the price. For a fraction of the time. I can get my hands on this entire list just by server hopping with the money that I made off the WoW coin. That's it. I'm good at this. I know inherently what these things are worth because I did it for 17 fucking years. And so when I go back to WoW, it's to do stuff like WoW Hardcore because at least the economy on WoW Hardcore hasn't been shat up by the American government yet. We can actually still sell items, you know? Even on the MMOs, the American government fascism has destroyed us. Even on digital realms on the internet, the American government fascism has killed us. I'm sick of it. I want free trade back in this country. Now! I'm talking yesterday! I'm done with your fucking embargoes and bullshit on free trade in this country. You want to hate communists and Chinese people and shit. I hate you way, 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 way worse. Your war on free trade was far, far, far more fascist than fucking Hitler. It's cost less lives, cost more money, and destroyed more lives. You're fucking... And I'm done. That's all. That's all I have to say.
Exceptional. I was incomprehensible.
A frank appraisal of my own life after what the government did to it. You know what I'm saying?
Average player who would start off the game over the holidays, ending the month with 34,000 followers gained on Twitch and 21,000 more subscribers.
Which isn't good. It's not a good appraisal. It's why I don't have a wife. It's why my family's half dead. It's why I'm half dead. And I'm like limping through and I'm surviving off of $165 worth of food stamps each month and $7,000 a year on disability and shit. I don't mind taking that money from them because when I think about the costs that when I think about the $100,000 in taxes that I paid in my life, I actually don't mind the $7,000 a year. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's a sick, sad state of affairs, and I don't like being a fucking leech, but they made my job illegal. So, here we are. Thanks, America!
He would sign a professional contract with the esports organization, TSM, bringing a new level of respect to his name, and of course, more eyes to his stream. On January 15th, he would post one of his most viral videos yet, where he would get 20...
If I could unlock my job and not be controlled by the fascism and the TOS bullshit that Blizzard and Microsoft are just marching further to make worse, right? And joining forces so they can make it even worse for us and way less likely for us to make money as opposed to them and all this, right? It's one of the reasons why Microsoft and Blizzard want to merge. This is why they all want to merge. They're giant corporatocracies trying to kill us directly, right? So now, like, if I could make my money doing this, right? And all the other games too, EVE Online and ESO, Final Fantasy 14, even Final Fantasy 11. I'll play them all at once. I'd sell my ISK, I'd sell my gold, I'd sell my transmog, and I would laugh my way to the more like $1 billion bank. make my $1 billion, become a billionaire off this. This is billions. I'm talking B. Even Pablo Escobar was permitted to make his billions, but I'm not. They'll chase me way farther, way faster, way harder, with way worse guns. Because they know. The digital people, if they were actually unlocked, if the trade was actually free, oh, you know, they would completely lose their control, their fascist fucking boot heel on our necks. So they can't permit it. They can't do it. So now, you know, and where I was going with this, right? If I could actually make this money, I would make my $857 cash US every time I sold one of my transmog items, right? And I'd only sit on this market, this $10 million market. I wouldn't fuck with anything less. None of these 5s or 6s. I'm talking about all 9s, bitch. You see them? All 9s. I only fuck with all 9s on that market. And I work 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 and I work. Just like you're going to see me do on this stream for the next 50 years and shit, right? And I save and I save and I save and I save. And after just 10 years, I'm sitting on Elon Musk money, and I buy America and get those fucking fascist parasites trying to kill us with their middlemen, kill free trade mentality, and banker Wall Street fucking cabinets and shit. Obama, everyone loves Obama, but I don't love a fucking Obama banker cabinet any more than I like a Trump fucking COVID cabinet. So, you know, so fuck them. I'll just straight up buy this country and get those fucking parasites the fuck out of here and introduce some kind of modified version of computer-led anarchy where people can make their own way. Because it's better than this shit. It's better than the gas being $6 a gallon, loaves of bread being $6. It's better than what they did. Fucking inflation. All you ever hear about on finance news and econ news is inflation this, inflation that. You mean you just never stopped charging way more than you should? You can call it a fancy word like inflation, but all it really is you just kept charging whatever you think you could get for whatever, and you never had any control or oversight whatsoever. So then you start charging $200 for a barrel of oil, and that's how we end up in Afghanistan. Fuck them. Get those fucking dirty traitor fucking bullshit ticks sucking our blood the fuck out of here. Yeah, I know I sound like some kind of anarcho fucking communist. I don't fucking care. After they fuck your life like they fucked mine, you'd sound like me too.
In the week following this upload, Myth's average concurrent viewers on Twitch would rise from around 3,000 to 7,000. The growth was starting to get even faster, and by this point, Myth was gaining around 10,000 followers.
I keep seeing Trump in 2024. Yeah, great. Let's get another 4 years of did he even ever he introduced one policy that he failed at, which was get the Mexicans out of here. He didn't even build the wall. So like just like Joe Biden, what did Joe Biden promise? He said, I'm going to get you out of Afghanistan and we're going to work on Build Back Better. And that's what he did. I'm not pro-Joe Biden anymore than I'm pro-Trump, but at least he had 2 policies that he actually stuck to. I don't want another fucking 4 years of Trump because he never even had a policy. I want a leader that's at least got a single policy that's actually attainable. You know, I don't even think the ones that Joe Biden picked were very attainable, but he actually did manage to get us out of Afghanistan. He didn't build back better, but he absolutely did get us out of Afghanistan. And that was Obama and him slaving for like 10 years trying to get us out of there. Thank fuck God. And like, you know, and so now I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, I'm sorry, but I can't have fascism in America anymore. I'm just as likely to shoot you as the right wing is. I mean, I am. I'm just as liable to shoot those parasites as the crazy gun-toting right-wingers are. To me, they're like literally alien parasites who have killed us. They literally killed us. Someone has been born who will die from catastrophic extinction-level event climate change. I think about it all the time. And so yeah, WoW has skins, but not really because of the U.S. government. You know. Yeah, like for WoW Gold, which is worthless. WoW Gold is worthless until you can sell it, you know? So it's not worth anything. You can get it for free. You can buy it, you know? I'm going to get off it. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go on a rant like this. I just think about it all the time. I'm like, yeah, I'm good at the one game that had good skins, and I was the skin master. We know how much money those skins guys made. All those fucking Rust gambler skins guys and all those CSGO gambler skin guys and all that. All the skin guys. They make like almost billions. You know what I'm saying? They make millions. Lots and lots of millions. And so, like, I'm a skin guy. I don't like skins, but I'm good at them. And I know what they're worth on the main game that I played for 17 years that I should have been able to. After you spend 17 years of your life doing something, you should be able to monetize yourself doing it, which is what I'm attempting to do right here. But my personality after what was left after the government got a hold of my life is so angry and unpleasant that I'm surprised I'm even able to retain 2 people, much less 5, or sometimes I've had like 30 people in here and that. After what's left after the government got a hold of me, it's like I'm surprised I'm even able to keep 2 people in here, because I'm an angry motherfucker. I liked January 6th. I thought it was the stupidest thing that's ever happened in America, but I like the idea of getting those fucking parasites the fuck out of here by any fucking means necessary so I can go on about actually taking care of my fucking family now. When I'm 40 and I actually need to, I actually need to do it. They were taking care of themselves most of their lives now. But now financially, it's fallen to me to take care of my parents. They're too old to cut it anymore. They're too old to work 40-hour weeks. They're 87, So when it comes down to me supporting them, it won't be from what I did for the last 20 years because I had the only illegal job left in the world, which is selling video game currency. Oh, that kills so many people and rapes so many women, causes so much wars and blood diamonds and shit. We better make selling video game currency illegal. Shitheads, get out of my government, you suppressive fascist shitheads. Fuck Trump, fuck Biden, and fuck anybody who rolls with either one of them. Fucking bunch of traitors killing our country. Get them out of here. Get them out of here.
So my friend sent you here?
You know what? Okay, if I were to run for president, I can tell you what I would say. It's free trade's been dead for 70 years. I will not allow it to happen any further. Free trade has been dead since the 60s, and I will not put up with that anymore. Not anymore. Not 70 years of it. I will not have free trade die in the country that I love while you traitors sit around in the fucking Sodom and Gomorrah and fuck us all to death. I will not do that. I will not watch you fucking freeze my accounts. I will kill you first. Don't fuck with me.
Stormwind has abandoned us. A foul wind of depravity rustles through the plains of Westfall. This was my homeland, and I will not turn my back on the citizens who choose to remain here. We, the former farmers, shall make our stand. Your task, should you choose to accept, is to patrol the grasslands of Westfall. Track down and slay the vile gnolls that seem to be working in conjunction with the Deadmines thieves. Bring me 8 gnoll paws.
And I'm done now, I promise. I'm not gonna revisit, I promise. I really am done. I got it out of my system.
Much aid from Stormwind directly, I do have a contact in the city who helps supply us with armor. His name is Osric.
I said my piece.
His shop, Limited Immunity, is in the old town of Stormwind. Our supply of armor dwindles, and I must contact Osric for more. Can you take him this note? The fastest way to Stormwind is through Thor, our Griffin Master. He's just down the hill. Bring him my note, and then take a Griffin to Stormwind. You have to get this note to Stormwind? That's not a problem. You can take one of my Griffins. For a small fee, you can take a Griffin to Stormwind, so you can deliver Lewis's note to Osric. You won't get there faster any other way. If that sounds acceptable, then just speak to me again when you're ready for the ride. I'll charge you a little, but trust me, it'll be worth it. The Defias,
especially on hardcore,
shifting. I've been following their movements for quite some time now. On a side note, I've ascertained that many members of the gang can be tracked by the red leather bandanas they wear. Bring me 15 of these bandanas, and I'll see to it you are rewarded.
Like, okay, let's look at how much a million gil is on Final Fantasy XI retail Ashura right now. I don't like doing this, but buy gil Ashura FFXI, right? Let's go see what a million gil on Ashura is. Because this game, it's 18 years old, but the people selling the gil on it, wow. It's gotten cheaper, but I mean, it's still, wow, it's gotten so cheap. But oh my god, that's a yeah. I mean, well, on a game that's 20 years old, of course it's gotten cheaper. But like, I mean, yeah, you can see it, right? Some of these items that these people get are worth 50 million. So it's like it's kind of crazy. Like they can just pull that in an hour, and you begin to see they aren't fucking around here. They aren't fucking around here. This is a real market that really would have put me in a house in the hills and made sure my family didn't have to deal with anything, and I wouldn't have to have been homeless on the streets dealing with drug addictions or anything if I'd had the one job left in the world that's actually illegal. Because even drug dealing and prostitution is basically legal still. They don't really do anything about it. But if they catch me doing what I do, they'd chase me across the world with high-powered rifles in Interpol. Because it is real money that they can't control. See it? Now, do I have 30 billion gil on Ashura? No. But if I was allowed to sell it in America, you better believe I would. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'd be running Dyna all fucking day, pulling my relic currency, laughing at you WoW noobs or whatever, making my 10 grand, you know, every 6 weeks. Take me about 6 weeks, I think, to pull 30 billion worth of Dyna currency if I actually tried. Like 6 weeks. Something like that. If I had people and a crew and infrastructure and a good server, unlike Ashura. I mean, Ashura's good to the best server, but I mean like a dead server that isn't too busy where I can't make my money, right? It doesn't matter what the game is. If I actually care to, I will dominate the market. I've done it so many times before on every game I've ever played. I will dominate the market. It's not that hard. So like I'm very good at dominating markets, you know. So this stuff doesn't impress me, and it doesn't mean much to me. But what I am certain of is it's very good money. Now that's the top end line. You're not making a lot of, you know, $10,000 sales, right? But you are probably making a whole lot of $26 sales. A whole lot of them. Probably more than you can count. WoW, like not WoW players, MMO players, they cheat.
Three other upcoming
Worst cheaters ever. Cheating McCheatertons. I'm very surprised when I meet an honest MMO player that didn't buy it or cheat or do something. I'm fucking surprised when that happens, because honestly, it's considered the community norm to buy the gold, buy the gear, cheat, bot, do all that stupid ass shit, right? And I did not do that, and I will not engage in that shit. And for me, it was about pride. I wanted to do it all legal, you know? Scoop the little homie in the Buick Regal, you know? Do it all legal like Bugsy Siegel.
They quickly became the most lethal squad in the game and would destroy every lobby they played in.
Oh my
Let's
god.
just say, the viewers loved it.
Yeah.
Fortnite was now beginning to transcend the gaming community, and the rapid growth of the game was starting to gain considerable mainstream media attention. At the forefront of this hysteria was the streamer Ninja, who was also seeing an unprecedented level
Yeah! Tyler Blevins for the motherfucking win! Yeah!
Subscribed streamer on Twitch.
Geek and sundry. Where did my pen go?
Who the best player in the world was, and more often than not, the debate was between two players, Myth or Ninja. With that being said, the two of them saw an opportunity for more viral content and would collaborate at the end of February, playing duos together. It was a magnificent spectacle for the community, and following the stream, Myth would upload one of their games to his YouTube channel, becoming his most viewed video ever, quickly reaching over 5 million views. Myth's growth was getting outrageous at this point, and by the end of February, he was the third most subbed streamer on Twitch, and doubled his average concurrent viewer count from the previous month to 11,000 average viewers, all whilst gaining 400,000 new followers. But it didn't stop there. Myth would take note of the success from his collaboration with Ninja, and a couple weeks later, would begin playing duos with one of the most popular streamers in the world, Pokimane. This collab would prove to bring even more attention to Myth's streams, with multiple viral, fan-made videos uploaded to YouTube. 4.7 million, 5.9 million, 11 million views. However, Myth didn't solely rely on collaborations to continue his growth, and was still focused on his gameplay, proven by another viral video posted to his YouTube showcasing a 39-kill solo versus
Fuck yeah, 39.
March 2018. Myth would once again double his Twitch viewers, consistently pulling over 20,000 average viewers per stream. On top of this, he would gain a jaw-dropping 800,000 followers, in the process of which he would break over 1 million overall followers on his Twitch channel.
Yeah, we hit 1 million fucking Twitch followers. I told myself I wouldn't cry, dude.
Nah, you should cry. You should cry.
Unstoppable at this point. In the space of only 4 months, he had gone from being relatively unknown on Twitch and YouTube to becoming one
I
of
want
the
that potion back and I will
biggest
cancel this mail.
creators of all
Fuck
time.
you.
Things just seemed to get better and better for Myth at this point. But that was until April 2018 came around, when Myth was invited to a Fortnite tournament hosted by Ninja at the esports arena in Las Vegas. And with huge amounts of pressure and expectation on his shoulders to perform against other players, this event would prove to be the first pitfall in Myth's career thus far.
I can see it right now. He's already coming up with an excuse. How do I tell everyone that I fell off the map? Like, what do I do? How do I let everyone know that I didn't get that many kills and I fell off?
While Smith had been growing at an unprecedented speed, Ninja was a different animal. And having recently smashed the record for the most subscribed streamer of all time, who better to host the first ever in-person Fortnite tournament than him? Ninja and Myth were essentially the 2 biggest names on Twitch and in Fortnite at this point, and with them both being seen as the 2 best players in the game, viewers were dying for the opportunity to see the 2
He's got the pedigree. Yep.
officially face off against each other in a game of Fortnite. With Fortnite fans seeing this as an opportunity to finally settle the debate amongst the community as to which of the 2 players was the best in the world. Naturally,
Ninja.
it created a huge anticipation,
Sorry.
and viewers were edged on their seat, expecting Ninja and Myth.
Not because he's white, but because he reached more people. He reached me. I had no idea who Myth was until today. Ninja reached a lot more people. It's Ninja.
Taking gun back.
Also, Ninja's active in the Final Fantasy XI scene majorly. And you think I'm kidding, but no. Ninja brought a lot of people to the Final Fantasy XI private server scene, and I will really always love him for that. Really, just like glowing, just thank you for that. That's one of the greatest things that ever happened for the Final Fantasy XI scene was frankly Ninja. So yeah, I'm a convert. I'm a fan. And if you want the proof, I can go to all of my. Well, no, I guess I've left all the other ones now. I used to be in the Nasomi and the Wings Discord servers, but now I'm only in Horizon because Horizon is the only game that the only Final Fantasy XI private server that I play. And so Ninja's in there, and he brought like 1,000 people to come play on Horizon the day it launched. And here's the proof. He did this for Nasomi. He did this for Wings. He brought like most of the people that are still playing these games, that are new anyways, were because of Ninja. When the kids saw that Ninja was playing this really old Final Fantasy game, partner creator, right? There he is. There's Ninja. Hunting for games. Okay, so anyways, there we are. And I don't know what else I need to do here. I need to make light armor kits, I guess. No, light leather. I need to go to a leatherworking trainer.
That had never been seen before. The event came around and the stage was set, and it wasn't long before 680,000 live viewers came flooding over to Ninja's livestream of the event, thus breaking the record for the most concurrent viewers of all time on Twitch. All eyes were on Myth and Ninja.
Myth,
a very, very popular player, crazy big on Twitch. These two going against each other, is there anything else you can think of in Fortnite that might make you a little...
This is the absolute biggest thing.
You guys, besides Ninja, I think tonight the one guy everybody's been waiting to see play is TSM Myth over here. Can I hear it in the house? How many of you guys are here waiting for Myth to do some domination tonight? How are you feeling coming into this final heat trying to destroy Ninja?
I feel really, really confident in my ability to do that task.
Out of the how many do you think you're gonna win?
Minimum 2. Like, I want to win minimum 2 games and go for the 2-fer. But I think I could definitely get 1.
With expectations of Myth already extremely high, and comments of confidence during his pre
Poor guy, they overblew
everyone was
him.
expecting to see incredible
And then he got the yiffs. He probably got the yiffs.
But unfortunately,
He sucked.
the event would prove to be a complete disaster for Myth. and
Yeah,
things
I heard
would
about
be
this.
climactic for the audience, as
Yeah.
Myth would put on an extremely disappointing performance, dying very early on in 2 games, and awkwardly falling to his death during a build battle in another.
Yeah, that's the problem with building that high. Sooner or later, you're gonna fly too close to the sun and fall to your nub ass death and lose like 100,000 subs. That's why I don't do stupid shit like that.
Myth fell off the side of a mountain.
Yeah, he fell.
Yeah, and this is what happens. You build a playstyle around not doing that. When you fall off the tower, like this other jackass that I used to have to deal with, we never let you lie. We never let you fucking forget it. We never let you let it go.
Fucking health insurance, man. People with broken ankles, you know what I'm saying? I can see it right now. He's already coming up with an excuse. How do I tell everyone that I fell off the map? Like, what do I do? How do I let everyone know that I didn't get that many kills and I fell off?
Myth, let's talk about what happened in this game.
I was going to play the high ground early.
Oh my god, nub as hell.
So we got into a little skirmish, and then off the side of the hill, I like encountered one of the rarest bugs in the game, which is like when you make an edit or like build something, it will just fling you off.
Yeah, it just
And
flings
so
you off.
That
Yep.
happened, and it was really unfortunate.
No, I think you jumped backwards. You jumped backwards.
Side of the hill, I like encountered one of the rarest bugs
So what are we looking at here? We're looking for
in the
myth.
game, which
So
is like when you make
okay, myth is there.
or like build,
Oh no, he was.
and then off the side of the hill, I like encountered one of the rarest bugs in the game, which is like when you make an edit or like build something.
It did. It bounced him. I mean, be at the top echelons of professional gaming, competitive professional gaming, you have to include the bugs in the gameplay, and you have to act accordingly, or the loss is considered legitimate. And so it's unfortunate that he lost his reputation due to a bug. Man, that's my worst nightmare. It almost happened already with Streamlabs being so fucking bad that I was cussing at it all day, every day for, 9 months. 9 months. All day, every day, I scream and cry about Streamlabs sucking dick. That's a bug that almost cost my career. And so I live in a nightmare situation with that. That's my worst nightmare. But I mean, hey, you get this competitive, this high up. That's the name of the game. That's the rules.
It'll just fling you off.
It did. It flung him off. He's right. I did not believe him when he said it, but he was right. It flung him off.
And so that.
And he was like, what? And he's right, but also, why are you building that fucking high off the ground anyways? Your style?
And it was real.
I really used to rage about people like this. I'd be like, stop building a fucking mini mall. And I would just pierce right through 4 walls and just go right to their feet and fucking waste them. Like, stop building a mini mall. It's not helping you. It's not helping me. Stop doing it, you know?
Unfortunate.
Despite the anticlimactic nature of the
That's why I went to zero build and never went back. I still never have. I've not played one game of build Fortnite since then. I don't want to. Completely worthless mode, in my opinion. Based around buggy bullshit like what we just saw, too.
performance wasn't going to be enough for Myth. to
Nope.
completely lose his
Fuck
status
no.
in the community.
No,
In
not that
fact,
guy, no.
He continued to grow at speed, and in the month of April would average 35,000 viewers, whilst gaining 700,000 followers, topping it all off by averaging
Yep.
1 million views per upload.
It's losing isn't learning isn't no losing isn't knowing when you've lost, it's knowing losing isn't when you've lost, it's knowing when you've lost. And so like for instance, I'm back in hardcore again and I want to keep playing this character, but I'm going to do it on a much more rested XP bonus, a lot slower. And I'm going to try and get my win the slow way. I was trying to power my way through it and do it before Season of Discovery, but rushing and AFKing and playing 3 games at once wasn't going to work for this. So now I'm just going to take my time. If it takes 4 months, it takes 4 months. I'm still going to get it. And I know that I haven't lost. Despite the 9 hardcore deaths, I have not lost. Not permanently. Not this battle. And he knows that. He knows that too. And so one of the ways that you keep the 750,000 subs is you show back up the next day and you keep fighting. And you show the world that you were worthy of their trust and you aren't a quitter and you don't retire from the battlefield a loser, right? And I often will make logical choices like I can't play hardcore anymore because I play 3 games at once. And if I do that, I will have an inevitable death in hardcore because it has happened 7 times. And so I can tell myself, oh, I can't play hardcore anymore. That dictates a rule set where I don't play it at all because if I'm not going to stop playing 3 games at once, I'm not going to stop dying in hardcore. But if I were to quit hardcore, it would be a very bad blow to my pride. I didn't need to do it in one shot. I'm not that perfect, and I don't care about this game enough to know the game that well. I mean, I do, but I know the game that well, but I don't care to do it in 2023. I'd rather have fun and just talk like this. So my motivation is not there. As you can see, I'm more liable to run around stealth like this and just talk than I am to try and kill things because it's my motivation is not there. I'm not rushing. I don't care. And so he's not going to lose them all unless he just never goes back on stream again. We like a good Cinderella story. I like that movie Cinderella Man quite a bit. It's the story of you get disgraced and kicked out of the ball and you didn't make it, but you have a good friend and a fairy godmother or something, and some kind of luck. I've always thought successful humans always have an aspect of luck that I can't replicate, and you come back to the ball in a pumpkin and a gown, or whatever it is that matters to you. You win the boxing fight despite being, despite scrubbing out at first. And so he probably kept it for a long time until the game itself got mediocre.
In May of 2018, Myth would move into the new TSM house. He was now under the same roof as his fellow Fortnite teammates, Hamlins and Daquan. And it would seem the failures of Las Vegas had been quickly forgotten, with Myth ending the month of May.
Goddamn birds right on top of me.
37,000.
So annoying.
Viewers, only ever achieved
Yep.
an extremely small number of streamers. But as is often the case with creators,
Put it away. Put it away. Put him away.
And this month would prove to be the peak of the Myth streaming career in terms of viewers.
17.
And in the months following, cracks would slowly begin to show.
I forget where I went last time. It's...
Following his lackluster performance at Las
Oh,
Vegas,
yes, I remember now.
continuing emergence of new star players, people
Yeah, I went to the right place. I just wasn't
began
there
to
yet.
ask questions in regards to the skill of Myth. Was he really as good as everyone thought? Fortnite was no longer an underground game.
Yeah, everybody chokes. Everybody has a bad day, even on their most expected to be best day. Everybody gets the yiffs. No one's perfect. People do throw hands and throw games and fuck up shit. Nobody's perfect. People do have bad days. And I think what I see here is somebody having a bad day, plus too much pressure. I think there's always stuff going on in the background that the superstar never talks about. Pressures with their love life, pressures with their family, pressures with their bosses, their managers, their co-workers, pressures with the fans, pressures with the platforms, all the pressure that he was under, all the various clans and all the various groups, right? All the discords and stuff. It all adds up to something, hopefully something that doesn't cause you to to play so badly that it ends your career, but it does all add up to something, and we must take it into account. The amount of pressure that these superstars are under is a factor in every tourney, every NFL game, every Super Bowl, every boxing match, every fucking MMA, all that stuff. The pressure is always a factor that we never, ever talk about. And what I see here is somebody under a lot of pressure, the kind of pressure that cracks you. I think it happened to Ninja. I think it happened to him and Dr. Disrespect and Lupo and all them, like Cypher PK and all them. Like trust me, man. Like the pressure gets to these people and they crack. Like Dave Chappelle.
Most players had spent at least a couple months playing.
And so then they say the worst thing possible. Were you ever good? Yeah, kid's good. I saw him play. He's verifiably fucking good. But only the shitheads will step like that, and they'll say the worst thing that they could possibly say for an athlete's ego, which is, were you ever good? Yeah, he was. It's obvious. Yeah, he is. Yeah. No, Muhammad Ali, supposedly the best boxer to ever live or whatever, did not have a spotless record. Nobody does. People have losses. I mean, he went for a while with a spotless record, but no, he lost some of the really important ones. Like Kobe lost some of the really important ones. You know, everybody loses. It happens. There's no such thing as a perfect anything except perfect AI that just never dies, right? I would say some of the extreme difficulty AI bots that you can see in shooters, like maybe Unreal, right? Unreal's AI. I would say some of that AI would never ever lose. Humans will lose. Humans will have a bad sexual episode the night before. Humans will drink too much before the night of the tourney. Humans will get a bad phone call that one of their parents is sick right before the performance, that kind of thing. Or humans will lose their cell phone half an hour before and they can't communicate with the people that they need to or whatever. Like, bad stuff happens. Someone steals your cell phone or your laptop right before the night of the event. I mean, this kind of shit happens, and so the pressure is never spoken about at high stakes things, but I wish it was, because the pressure is high. I am sympathetic to him. I look at somebody who is under the entire world's eyes, pretty much, at least in terms of the video games. And that can't be easy. It's easy. How I used to say it, I still say it like this. It's easy for us to take shots at them up there. And I know that's really, that's like really, it's really, what's the word? It's like permissive, and it's kind of, it's sort of an enabler, like sort of liberal view of it. Like, oh, it's easy to take shots at them up there, Elon Musk and the Zuck and yeah, that's 4 levels, but that's okay. I better help him then. I meant to go to the haystacks. Not there. Yeah, I can kill, like, that guy. No, I can't. No, I can't. I need to not pull that guy. I'm going to go to the opposite side of the... I like this haystack field because nobody ever comes here. And it's actually a really good place to farm, like, levels even, really. And these things have no defense for some reason. They die in, like, 2 hits. I don't know why, but...
held by the early adopters of the game, such as Myth. Long gone were the days where Myth would consistently run into players who had considerably less knowledge of the game.
Yeah, like, that's the other thing. It's like there's this power creep around you. It's why I left Fortnite. I'll tell you why. I used to feel like you could run across random people that might not be better than you. But then eventually, after 5 years of Fortnite and all the interest that it got, every match I was in, even on brand new accounts, was full of sweaty assholes who would chase you like the Terminator with the same sort of level of skill that you're like the kind of level of skill you would see in a extremely like high difficulty bot or something like that. They'll chase you across the match. They'll get their kill, and like I got used to it, but that was when the game stopped being fun. When it stopped being like, occasionally I run across like a new player that might not build a mini mall every time I fire a shot at him. There was this point right around 2020 when that just wasn't the case anymore. You couldn't get a game with a single noob, much less any kind of fair fight, or even like it was always somebody better than you. After 2021, by that point, by Christmas 2021, I was kind of in a semi-professional like Fortnite team in the respect that we had some interest, and I was getting like between 3 and 10 viewership every night, and we were doing pretty well. And like, you know, I love my trio, and one of my best friends is in that trio, and I don't play with them anymore because the game wasn't fun for me anymore. I told him, I was like, I can't play Fortnite all day, every day anymore. I can't do it for 5 or 6 hours every night anymore. I've got to leave this trio. It's too much pressure. It's too much commitment and all this shit. I'm too much of a quitter, right? But really what I was more worried about is I was not having fun, because while Zero Build had completely renewed my faith in Fortnite, what they did to Zero Build completely destroyed my new faith, which was like spiderweb hands that could sling you across the land, and inside of like 2 minutes you could travel from one beach to another in 2 minutes. Literally, you could in 2 minutes you could travel the entire island. So at that point, like Spider-Man would materialize on top of you and from the sky and begin wailing on you with an assault rifle, and it just wasn't fun. It wasn't fun. It was the same bullshit that they did to build Fortnite.
Outplay, and people would take.
And so that's what he's talking about now. And by that time, like when Fortnite was new, his skill was lamentable. But by 2020, his skill meant nothing at all. Like nothing at all, because every kid was playing it like what I would say is like a semi-pro level. Like every kid on Fortnite is playing it like what I would say is like a semi-professional level when you consider it like compared to a game like WoW, right? Damn it. Yeah, like I would say, like most players in Fortnite and League are on like a semi-professional level when you look at when you can compare it to some game like WoW or ESO or I don't know, MapleStory or something like that, right? Games that people play just for fun. Like most Fortnite players are playing at such a high level now that it frankly just is not fun. It is not fun. Like every single motherfucker builds a mini mall. Every single motherfucker chases you for 5 blocks if you try to get out of the fight, if you feel like you aren't going to be able to get the kill on them and you run. It used to be you could easily escape the situation. Now they just chase you like the Terminator for 10 whole minutes. They'll waste the entire match because they'd rather get that. It's all about pride with these shitty sweat the bedders, you know? They sweat the bed. And it's all about pride, so they can't let you step. They can't let you leave the fight. They can't let you go on and continue to have a fun match. They've got to chase you the 5 blocks. And it got so bad that I was like, I don't want to play with these dishonorable shitheads anymore. They chase you across the entire fucking island for 13 fucking minutes just to get a trio kill. And then you get resurrected by your team anyways. And it was just disgusting. It was disgusting based behavior that they learned from players like Myth and Ninja. And I don't think it made the game good. You can call it skilled. I used to call it clever use of blank mechanics, and I won't tell you what the word blank is because it would get me banned. But I mean, that's what I used to call it, even to my Fortnite trio before I was ever a streamer. I said we have to look out for the clever use of blank mechanics because they think that means the meta. But all it really means is you don't have a fair fight. They have some advantage that you don't have. That's all the meta is. You don't have a fair fight. That's all. That's why they're always elevated. They always have a better weapon than you somehow. They always have more hours than you somehow. There's always some weird advantage thing they've got, or they wouldn't be playing the game. And trust me, and it made the game so not fun that I can't play it for longer than a day without needing like a 6-month break afterwards. And I loved Fortnite the way I love WoW. I love Fortnite.
It was made on the 3rd of June 2018, titled "Is TSM Myth the Most Overrated?"
Obviously, yes.
With one Reddit
Yep.
commenting, "It was the first to master building super quickly, and was the best builder in the game for a while, until everyone caught up. People just remember when he used to be amazing.
I hate his style. I'll tell you right now. I know I don't like. I used to actively like speak out against it when I would see it and troll it in the Discord, as I would kill them anyways. They do all this shit. They build super fucking mini malls all up into the fucking sky. I just rocket launcher the fucking base, drop the motherfucker, and shotgun his ass. Yeah, big fucking advantage your mini mall got you. All you did is waste 45 seconds of my time. Well, we could have just had a good fight here on the ground. But no, you gotta run like fucking Myth all the way to the fucking sky. So then I just like break your fucking foundation and you fall to your death. You know? That's how it was in 2018 anyways. And he brought that stupid ass gameplay to them, and they all emulated it, and it ruined the game.
Later, another viewer of Myths would write, is TSM Myth really good enough for a pro team?
No. I'm kidding. Yes, he is. He absolutely is. I was kidding. I'm being mean. No, he obviously is. Yeah, he never would have been in that tourney if he wasn't good, trust me.
Was far greater than what the vast majority of players had.
Wait. How much here? What was this KD? Did you say 7? No way he said 7. There's no way this kid has a 7 KDR. I mean, maybe. In Fortnite, yeah, because Fortnite's a joke. Yeah. Did you say 7? You said 7, didn't you? He has a 4.72. It wasn't 7, it was 4.72. Okay, thank God. I was like, there's no way. He has a KDR of 7. The best I've ever pulled is 4. There's no way that kid's a 7. There's no way.
Plus the 17%.
Yeah, plus, yeah, which is super good. I mean, but you got to think, right? That means he's only winning 1 in 5, which is, or, well, like less than that. 1 in technically 6. So, I mean, like, he's not winning that much. He's dying top 10 in 5 of them and pulling 1 win off the 6th, which, you know, in terms of esports, isn't enough winning to essentially garnish the interest to keep it going, I don't think. But, I mean, that kind of KDR, I kind of went half-mast when I even thought of having that kind of KD. Because I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. Now, like, on Overwatch, I think the best I ever got was, like, 1.72 on Moira. Which is really good for a healer, but really bad when you look at it from like, competitive levels like what this guy's at. So, I mean, like, yeah, best I've ever had is 1.72, which I don't even think is that good. You know, that's like you get 2 kills for every death. That's not even very good, frankly. He gets like 5 kills every death, which is definitely at least 2.5 times better than me, you know?
Majority of players could hold.
I mean, on Fortnite, he's more like 2.5 million times better than me, but yeah.
It was nowhere near good enough for someone to be labeled as the best in the world.
Yeah, plus it's subjective, right? Because a lot of super skilled players are so sick of having to fight sweat the betters all day that they like play alt accounts. We call them Smurfs, right? They play alt accounts all the time. They'll buy 7 to 10 accounts and they'll play a different one each day because they're so sick of fighting vets all the time who steal wins and only engage if they have some kind of clear advantage. And I do it too. Trust me, I do it too. I did it on Fortnite. I didn't do it on Overwatch because I hate Overwatch Smurfs. That's an entirely different level of based degeneracy over Overwatch Smurfs. But I understand it for shooter games that are competitive like Fortnite or PUBG, right? Because you get like, and I mean Overwatch was competitive like that on PlayStation, at least it was, but it wasn't on PC. And like or it was in the days of the Overwatch League, but it wasn't really important ever, I don't think. And one of the reasons this is true is because, like, on a shooter, like, 5 KDR is possible, but not very likely. And you would need to pull it all the time to garner the interest in the esports scene to keep the money interest where it is, to even make it a sustainable job, which is why esports died. But I don't think esports should have died. I think they should have made better multiplayer games, such as the finals, right? I don't know if you guys have seen the finals, but let's go see how the finals is doing right now, because I like the finals despite it not being a game I could play every day. I thought the finals was fan-fucking-tastic, right? So is it out yet? I don't know. Yeah, the finals release date. Let's see what people have to say about this. Thank you, Epitome. For the excellent content for my stream. I've liked and subbed to your channel.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Epitome, and in today's video,
like, okay, the finals has the pedigree of a good Fortnite game. It plays like one. It feels smooth. It's got problems, but it's good.
to talk about the release date of the finals and everything we know about the game.
Music's spectacular. All of it spectacular.
Talk about next on the
spectacular like Fortnite.
investors.
A spectacle. A very good one too.
And if you're not sure who next,
Yeah, and it plays like this. These aren't CGI scenes. What you're seeing is what the game actually plays like.
There are big shareholders in Embark Studios. We wouldn't be able to have this game without them. You can see here on the screen.
Yep.
This is the presentation.
I should have invested in the finals because I do believe in the finals. I don't think it'll take over the way Fortnite did, but I believe in the finals. Absolutely. I don't like Nexon. I will never support Nexon.
3 very heavily branded the finals, which is what we like to see from the finals.
I did not know the finals was Nexon, but I mean the game's free. Am I surprised? It's gonna have gacha. Existing virtual worlds. They've got China's Dungeon and Fighter DNF. They've got Maple Story. They have FC Online, which I've never heard of before. Maple Story 2. The finals. Arc Raiders, which I don't know what that is. I'll have to check that out next. Oh no, these are new. These are all new. So these are ones that aren't out yet.
Coming out, and the finals is released for Q4.
Right, and they're like the upside opportunity is the other ones that they're messing with. Nexon is poised to make a killing here when the finals does really well, because I believe it will.
Which could mean January, but we know that they want to push for 2023.
They're not dumb. They want to hook the kids in a way where the parents don't mind. I don't think a parent could ever really have any issue with the finals beyond the addictive nature of it.
By the end of the year, Nexon is also getting a new leadership as well, new CEO, which is exciting news for them. And the best
Wow, so and good because I don't like Nexon. So or Nexon, whatever you want to call them. I don't like Nexon. So like new leadership sounds good to me because I mean their old leadership were pieces of shit. So yeah, get some new leadership. That's the stuff I want to hear. You know that sounds good to me. Because Nexon is not known for being very good company. You know they don't have a good reputation like EA. They're not a particularly good company.
7.5 million downloads worldwide.
They're good at making games and they make good games, but they're not a particularly good company. No.
Played games.
They're a gacha company.
Wishlisted games. If you
The finals will be very gacha. Very, very gacha. Like Fortnite skins.
have a little nosy yourself.
That level of gacha. Fortnite skin gacha.
What does this all mean for the finals and the release?
$25 a skin.
Already know Embark Studios
Already.
want to release
Like the finals already is $25 a skin. Which is just... How do you fuck children for that much money? How do you sleep at night? On a pile of money with many beautiful women. Just asking. That's The Simpsons.
But what does this actually mean?
How do you sleep at night? On a pile of money with many beautiful women is the answer. It's the proper answer. Fucking disgusting. Humans who fancy themselves to be Smaug. You know? Smaug the dragon. Or Scrooge McDuck. DuckTales Scrooge McDuck. You know?
Christmas Day, which is very unlikely.
Oh no.
Come on. And you're probably wondering why won't it release for Christmas Day? Mainly because if the servers shit the bed, there is no one to fix the game. Most tech companies and game companies will close like the week before, so around about the 17th of December, unless is when we can see the game releasing, or into the new year. But a lot of theories
I should buy new swords, but I don't care.
that it could be around the 7th of December, and people are wondering why the 7th of December, and that will actually be the Game Awards. We already know that the Game Awards is a great place to showcase the best game of the year, different nominations in different categories, but it's a great place to showcase the new games for the future. Games that are coming out soon, and games which people want to get excited by. So a lot of people in the gaming industry are going to be watching this on the 7th of December, but why not release the game for this? We already know Embark Studios like to be very impulsive when they release things, but I can see them doing a well-polished trailer and going, right at the end of the trailer saying, hey guys, go play it now on Steam, which is a great final push. You can see here on Steam as well, the finals playtest is actually being updated for the 25th of November, which is very weird. Why the 25th of November? So if it is going to be updated then, we could see from the 25th of November to the 7th of December a release date. So I'm thinking the 7th of December, which a lot of people on Reddit are as well. Leave a comment.
Oh, hey, I got a new sword.
Game's going to be released. Do you think it's going to be released for the Game Awards, or do you think it's going to be released in the new year? I do think 25th of December is a very unlikely chance. If it does come out, I'll hold my hands up.
Oh, it's a dagger. It'll sell. It'll sell well. 10 silver.
Videos, guys.
Not bad.
Leave a like and a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.
Yeah, it was helpful. Thank you. Yeah, the finals is looking good. So, I just wish it wasn't Nexon. Because I've heard some nasty things about MapleStory before. And Dungeon Fighter and all that. They're a bad gacha company like, you know, Miyoho. Which isn't good. Uh-oh. This is 2 hours ago. We're going to do our daily Some Ordinary Gamers. Mutahar. Thank you for the excellent content from my stream. I've liked this up to your channel. This is from 2 hours ago. Very current daily video. Let's go look. YouTube is doing this thing now where if I pause the video, it's causing a 3-second delay before the audio comes in, and that's new. It started today.
Me, Mutahar, and today we got to talk about breaking the law. Ladies and gentlemen, this video might get me sued, okay? And the reason why I may actually face legal action is because the subject of today's video is a scumbag game development company. So this is a game known as Venator.
Venator. Let's go take a look. Venator. Uh-oh. No, Venator. Don't see it. So, there we go.
PvPVE first.
Ooh, PvPVE. First person shooter, huh? Oh, Extraction. Extract and Survive. No, Psycho Frontier didn't do well, guys. I'm sorry, but you keep trying to push Extraction. Dark and Darker didn't save Extraction. What makes you think you can?
So kind of think of it similar to, I guess, Escape from Tarkov, okay?
Yeah, or well, Dark and Darker is the better example these days. Dark and Darker is the one Extraction game that's still like beyond Rust. I would say Rust is kind of like in a minor way kind of Extraction. I would say Rust is pretty much an Extraction game, yeah. So the most successful Extraction game I would consider would be Rust. But right underneath that, of course, is Tarkov, and right underneath that would be Dark and Darker. No, Dark and Darker did way better than Tarkov. So I don't know. It's actually like Dark and Darker. But they took Dark and Darker off the market, if I recall. Like, I don't believe it's on Steam. Like, let's go look. Is Dark and Darker actually... No, see, Dark and Darker is not on Steam because that game's kind of fucked up a little bit. I'm not saying the game's bad. I think it is good. But the developers were fucked up. Like, fucked up in a way where it cost them the title, kind of. You know? So I did not want to support Dark and Darker.
Line PvPVE first-person shooter, right? So kind of think of it similar
Psycho
to,
Frontier, Tarkov,
Call of Duty Warzone,
Warzone.
Shooter craze that we're currently living through.
Yeah.
Now this game used to be on Steam, for instance. It was an early access game for a little bit, releasing in Q4 2023, so literally right around the corner. Now obviously it's a game that's no longer available on the Steam store. Because I'm
like
also
Dark and
sure
Darker
Valve does not enjoy asset flips on their store.
Nope.
So what is an asset flip, okay? An asset flip is basically a video game on a digital storefront that is very low quality. So for instance, remember when I played Arab Drift Cars 2? I believe it was 2. I don't know if it was a sequel or a... It doesn't matter. PlayStation storefront.
Arab Drift Cars. Are you fucking serious? Arab Drift Cars 2. What?
And and it ran like the first two. That is an asset flip, okay? An asset flip is basically a video game on a digital storefront that is very low quality. So for instance, remember when I played Arab Drift Cars 2?
Arab Drift Cars 2. What? And it looks worse than Half-Life 1.
I believe it was 2. I don't know if it was a sequel or a... It doesn't matter. That game was on the PlayStation
Roblox looks better than this. What?
storefront that I bought
Arab Drift Cars 2. What?
For a couple dollars. And it ran like hot ass. It looked like hot garbage.
Yep.
And ladies and gentlemen, it was just basically assets downloaded, cobbled together, and put on a storefront within maybe a day or two.
Smart. Really smart. Because if you get, like, you know, if you sell 100,000 copies of something that you only spent like 10 grand on at $20 a pop, you clear 20 million off of $10,000, and it's smart until Steam catches you, you know. And then, but I mean, who cares if you torch your opinion or your reputation when you have $20 million afterwards? They're smart.
All there just to divert.
But now people are hip to their game.
Traffic from big budget games, big quality games, high quality games.
And all the whole time you're just learning how to be a better developer. And you're forcing them to pay while you learn, right? It's so corrupt.
So these
but it's smart.
Can make a few bucks, okay?
Yeah.
It is effectively shovelware. Steam is full of this kind of stuff. Games
full
like
of it.
Anime Stranding, for instance, okay?
Oh my
Which is a
God.
Death Stranding with absolutely cobbled together assets one could find on multiple storefronts. Basically, you buy an asset pack for like $20.
Wait, he just did Death Stranding with other people's cheap assets, which is actually genius. Fucking genius, because Death Stranding sucks so bad that if you could sell a copy of it for $1 that had like crappy assets in it, so people could experience Death Stranding in all its glory without the expensive price tag. It actually is genius, though. It actually kind of is. I'd rather buy his game for $1 and experience all of Death Stranding than pay for Death Stranding. Oh God. I'm sorry, but it's true. I would. I'd rather play his crappy asset flip game if it was Death Stranding in its entirety. Why not just steal other people's entire game and put cheap assets instead of theirs? Why not? And then just sell it for $1. Never mind. This guy was selling it for $65, which is why they probably get shut down so badly. If they charged $5 to $20, they'd probably do gangbusters. But they charge $65 or $81.77 for this crap, which just pisses off every white hat nerd in the world and causes them to come prosecute and ban them.
Maybe make $200 out of it, okay?
And I honestly am not that against them asset flipping, because something should happen with those assets. Otherwise, they're just going to sit on the store and gather dust. But also, I don't like, and I actually kind of like the concept of being able to play Death Stranding for $1. I actually kind of like that concept. I don't care if the gameplay's crappy. The gameplay loop in Death Stranding was so boring to me, I couldn't force myself to do the game, which is so sad because I know that game's good. So I'd rather like pay $1 to this dude, but he was charging $65. That's the problem. He should have charged $1. I guess this one's free. Oh no, yeah. Wait, a lot of these are free. Look, a lot of these fucking assets are actually full blown free. Take a look at that. See it? Free. So they just, you know, they get basic level of like coding. They go to like boot camp and they're wondering what to do with the degree or whatever. They go to like a free boot camp, you know, and then at the end of it, they asset flip free shit off the Epic store or whatever the fuck this is, and they don't even have to pay for the assets, and all they have to do is sell one crappy game 200,000 times at $20 a pop, and they can retire with $20 million at the age of like 20. And honestly, I don't hate them for doing this, because if it's possible, do it. It's Steam's job to keep these games off the market, not theirs.
And Steam, Epic Epic Games, I guess.
Yeah, Epic,
PlayStation,
Steam, they
Xbox,
hate this. They probably hate it.
Switch.
They'll probably threaten to sue you. They probably send you a letter like, if you ever do this to us again, we'll spend the money to sue you. We don't ever want to see you again or anybody who looks like you again. Steam probably sends a cease and desist letter from an expensive lawyer who's like, yeah, trying to call you on the phone to make sure you got his email, like his email fucking cease and desist letter. An expensive lawyer with Schreiker and Coakley or whatever shows up and like, you know, and it's like, yeah, we're actually kind of serious about this. If you ever asset flip like this again, we're actually going to sue you for all 50 million that you made off this or whatever. And so the person actually stops, but they still made the 20 million, and that's the problem. See, look, now YouTube is taking 3 seconds to let the audio driver kick in. Something's weird.
Crap on a daily basis, okay? As soon as you wade through the quality, you'll find the asset flips. Now, one YouTuber in this situation, alright, known as Blue Drake 42, has decided to take this matter into their own hands and produce their own video game, ladies and gentlemen. A game known as Operation Harsh Doorstep. Now, if you don't know Operation Harsh Doorstep, it's a game that's entirely free on the Valve storefront here. You can download it right now, you can donate if you feel like it, and of course, it's a game that's fully moddable. It's an Unreal Engine game that at its core plays like Squad, Arma, really any tactical military shoot.
Wow, and this is free. Operation Harsh Doorstop. What a weird fucking name. But I like the idea that it's completely free. They just wanted to see what people would do with it, which is so cool.
Okay, games like Ready or Not. And of course, you can mod this so you can add other things into it. So generally, it's a free game. Apparently, it's always going to be free, and it's designed just for the community to play without scumbag
Brilliant.
developers.
Fucking brilliant.
Now, I also respect on a wholesale level when a YouTuber is building their own game. Making a game is not fucking easy, okay?
No.
Making a game requires a significant capital investment, it requires a time investment, it requires talented developers, and most importantly, artists to produce unique assets.
Yep.
What Blue Drake wanted to do was not make an asset flip. They didn't want to just steal assets from any game or just cobble together some crappy video game together. No. This is not an asset flip. For the most part, we've been told here that every single asset in this game, for the most part, has been made by their own artists and their own teams. There may be some assets they've bought, but it would be in a very, 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 very small minority. So what's important here is to go back to Venator, okay? Now Venator, these developers are producing a game that you can play right now, okay? You can hit that big play now button, you can download their launcher, and the full version at this price is currently 30 euros, okay? So around $40 USD from my understanding, okay?
My
now,
God.
They're charging
for
money, okay? Where
like for some crappy game from some crappy game company you've never heard of before. They're like, it's as if you drive up to a motel that looks just as crappy as a Motel 6. You walk up to the counter and you're like, how much for a night? And they're like, yeah, that'll be $139.50. And you're like, what? And they're like, yeah, that'll be $139.50. Oh, but you look like a Motel 6. I was maybe willing to pay maybe $81 to $89 after taxes at the most. You're saying $135? And they're like, yeah, $135. Well, I could go to like a 5-star hotel for that, you know? And they're like, well, tough titty, that's what the price is, right? And that's what's wrong with a lot of this bullshit in this industry. And they flood the market with these crappy games for $50 price points too, that are just not the quality of a Skyrim or any of that shit. It's just not. It's not worthy of even $10, much less 50, you know, or 60.
Is a free game. So some astute
I believe I've heard a lot of rumblings in the scene lately that YouTube is suddenly about to, I mean, they already did. They basically, they killed ad blocker on YouTube completely. And now they are like, I believe they are, unless you pay for premium, they are making performance of the normal browser, the normal video player a little bit worse. So like, because I'm not paying for premium, I am getting like a 3-second delay now every time I unpause the video where the audio doesn't come in right away.
Individuals look closer.
Not always, but sometimes.
Into the assets and found something.
Yeah. There. Oh no.
A little bit scary. Okay. For instance, this is Operation Harsh Doorstep, right? Take a good look at this gas station. You got 95 ethanol, 91 ethanol, and a warning. Don't smoke near the gas station. Now, of course, this is from Venator. Whoa, hold on. This is the same goddamn acid tree that I'm seeing. So the implication here is obviously the gas numbers 9571. I mean, even the colors haven't been changed. The danger close sign is considerably, well, danger close to the other developer. So there's a lot of red flags here. So of course they looked at the 3D assets, and walking into this like house, this warehouse looking area, you can see that they've got this green panel, this green window panel, this sort of like I guess you could say beige wood panel here too for the door. And of course, this is from Operation Harsh Doorstep, their unique asset. Now, when you compare it to this next game, they've got the same exact layout over here, except they may have changed some of the coloring, right? So, for instance, it's a little bit reddish, as you're seeing here. I mean, you can even kind of just see that the layout of the building is the exact same, too. Forget the proportionality.
They'll sue him for this.
You can see that literally the layout. Like,
because his streamer allegation will kill their entire company, and they will sue him for this. Because what they're doing is technically legal. But if he torches their reputation, they won't be able. The Steam store will never allow their company to ever release anything ever again, and they will sue him. They will be so mad. They're gonna probably consider hiring an assassin. Frankly, like they're gonna hate him so much for this, because he's stealing millions from them with a single video.
Side, and of course, an Operation Harsh Doorstep. That's the wall right there. They've
Yeah.
added a locker in their version of the game.
I would not want to anger these people. I would not want to anger these. I would not want to go pick a fight with these people because they are the black hats on the deep web. These weird asset flippers and stuff. They're the people buying the chomo porn and the drugs online off the Silk Road and stealing people's credit card numbers and buying fucking Amazon and PayPal cards and all this shit and like and asset flipping. They're like the dregs of the dark web internet, and I would not want to anger these people. He's very fucking brave to go after them like this and try to take the money out of their fucking pockets, because if you take the money out of their pockets, and what they were normally doing all year was sitting around their asset flipping studio and like, you know, in their flat and like just like laughing all the way to the bank. But if you take their livelihood away from them, all they do is they spend the next whole year trying to destroy you. And they probably succeed. Sooner or later, they'll find whatever his foible is and they'll exploit it. Honestly, you know what I'm most scared of with people like this is if they ever figure out where you live and you leave your house and you have digital security and not like dogs and men with guns, right? Which strikes me as the sort of style that Mutahar would have is more like really good digital security, but not like a guard or dogs or any of that or guns, right? So they wait till they know he's at, you know, PAX or whatever, or whatever the video game showcase is or whatever, right? Then or Twitch, TwitchCon. They know when he's going to be out of town for TwitchCon or whatever, right? And so they come to his house, and it's not that they're there to steal. They're there to farm information about whatever it is that he's done that's bad in their eyes, and then they either use that against him, or they plant something. And they use that. And the government doesn't care how, you know, pedophilic content got on your computer. They just, I mean, I don't know a lot about it, but I assume that they don't care how it got on your computer. They just care that it happened, right? So, like, you know, and that would be my fear is frankly, you piss off psychos like this that are bored enough to do something like asset flipping for a living. You're going to have these weird, crazy, black hat, like no morals hacker dudes after you who have all the power of the deep web's corruption and black hat hacking information at their fingertips, essentially, at like gunning for you and your wife and your kids. And I would not pick a fight with these deep state assholes like Mutahar is doing right now. That's poking the bear is the metaphor, or really the used up fucking cliche for it. Don't poke the bear. Don't ever poke the deep web bear bad things will happen to you. You do not want these people's attention. I've already gone to war with a whole bunch of rat bastards, you know what I'm saying? And it never ended well. It always cost me way too much time and effort and tears. And so I don't know why he would voluntarily go to war with these people. He doesn't need to save people from their asset flipping. He's got a white knight syndrome thing going on here, and it's going to cost him in the end, I think. Well, you know, that's remained to be seen. That remains to be seen. We don't know if I hope it doesn't cost him anything. But the problem is these kind of people, you do not want to piss these people off. It's like pissing off the mafia. The mafia went online. They don't run guns and numbers on the fucking corner anymore, like you know, in the hood, like they used to. The mafia went online and they're doing digital crime now. You don't want to fuck with these people. And asset flipping is one of their major sources of income. I would not kick that hornet's nest. That's like the girl with the dragon tattoo kind of thing.
Pretty much the same asset shot for shot. So from Operation Harsh Doorstep, we're in there these kind of like tunnel locations. You can see like they've got this arch, they've got this supporting beam, and they've got this other doorway leading out. Now, of course, looking into Venator, you might be able to isolate, whoa, the layouts are matching. Like, it's not even just like a few graphics, it's the straight up layouts of some of these locations. Now, this is another asset that claims to be stolen here, and if you can look at it, the side of the building is quite honestly very identical. The top railing section, as you can see, is pretty much match for match. The window placement is a match to match. Exterior textures may be a little bit different, but then the key difference here is the amount of HVAC units that are actually above each window, or aircon units, and yes, there are changes made to some of these assets. But by and large, you can absolutely see the original asset pretty much underneath some of these minute changes. Like, look at.
So they took Operation Doorstep, renamed it to something else, and tried to make $20 million. And frankly, I don't really see morally what's wrong with that. The game's free. The assets are free. It's Steam's job not to let games that are this bad be on their market. But I don't know. Morally, I'm not so sure asset flipping is even that bad. I mean, morally, it's really bad, but I mean, like, legally, I'm sorry. Morally, it's incredibly bad. But legally, I'm not so sure. I don't know. I'm not so sure. The only thing he can possibly get here is getting Steam to be more careful about this particular company. I'm not so sure he's going to make any progress here with this attack either. That's the other thing. These people tend to sort of slide through the grip, you know. They tend to like live in the woodwork. They don't often face prosecution. They don't often lose their company, you know. That's not very common.
Operation Harsh Doorstep has. Okay, you see this like building? It's got these 4 slitted like vertical windows. You've got these 2 support beams. What am I saying? Go right here. Bam! 4 slitted windows. It is. Hands down, that asset.
But honestly, this is one of the reasons why I don't really think any game should technically be free. I mean, this game should be free, Operation Doorstep, and I think that's such a cool idea that Operation Doorstep is free, right? But if you're going to release a free game that's entirely open source like that, right, that could be modded and is the community's baby, what's to stop people from just taking the mod and changing the assets slightly, renaming it, and reselling it? There's nothing to stop them from doing that. I would say a lot of software development is that, you know. So morally, I'm not so sure. Legally, it's really should be technically illegal because the game's so bad that it's straight up fraudulent. But I don't know.
Things like the color, maybe they've added like a bit of graffiti onto it, but at the end of the day, from like this distance, it is without a doubt like the exact asset underneath. Maybe there are some changes, but that's still not enough to make it look like it's not stolen. Look at this one building they made over here, okay? They got this little nice building, all right, two windows staring out. You've got this like Tetris-style roof going on. Bam! It exists in Venator. Literally the exact same. Like, yeah, sure, they changed the exterior graphics for it, but at the end of the day, those assets, my God, appear to be exactly ripped off. Like, it is almost entirely like underneath, it's the same asset. Over it, they may change some of the visual design, but it's still the asset that we're looking at. So I was a little bit surprised when I started looking into this because I figured that there were so many free assets that were available that they wouldn't even need to be doing this. So again, it's unmistakable that the asset work is without a doubt the same underneath everything. So this wouldn't necessarily be that big of a deal. Obviously, Blue Drake ended up contacting this development team, which is when it got a little bit fucked up. So inside this development team, they ended up responding back to Blue Drake, whose name is Connor, and they said, "Don't get me wrong, I want to help and understand clearly what you're saying. I checked on my computer and on others. I have no download reference to your project or license. I kindly ask you to enable me to delve deeper on the topic and also carry out other checks. I'm talking about this project of yours, where they mentioned the OHD mod kit. So this is the SDK for Operation Harsh Doorstep, which allows players to mod their game. Can you confirm that the game objects you indicated can only be found on this project and that this project is yours?" I mean, obviously Blue Drake should be able to prove that the assets they've made belong entirely to them with their own metadata. What I think is that your game files...
One of the reasons why we let cops deal with criminals is because once you shut a criminal down from their livelihood, all that criminal will do is attack you for the remaining of time that they have free until the next scam or the next theft or whatever takes their attention away, right? But you don't want to go hunting criminals unless you're police, because, like, trust me, they've got nothing better to do, nothing to lose, but fuck with you for a really long time. You don't want to mess with these people. Let the authorities do their jobs. You don't need to white knight this. And I would not kick this hornet's nest at all.
The epic marker to kit place. Nice spelling. And redistribute it after small manipulations in another forms. I cannot, in terms of Italian law, provide you with the list of our purchases on Epic's Market House due to privacy and other
17.
Italian laws. Why can't you prove a list of purchases? I don't know. I'm calling sus on the Italian legal penal code for that. However, I can assure you of my full commitment to understanding the situation. The first piece of advice I would like to give for OHD is to prevent downloads of game packages from the Epic Store by anyone who tries to accessing them without your license. This could be an excellent legal defense. Now, this statement alone is insanity. So, as you understand, if you download anything or a free-to-play game, you might notice that there's a contract in the beginning of every single one of them. That's what we call an end-user license agreement. Now,
or TOS.
Have it when you legally purchase a title,
You'll
but you know that
TOS
piracy exists, right? Like, you can download pirated versions of many games and strip their EULA. If I pirated, for instance, Rainbow Six Siege, right? For instance, I downloaded it, I've skipped all of the EULA that Ubisoft provided me. I never said I accept. That still makes it illegal. If you are illegally obtaining the fucking game data, and sure, you didn't sign an EULA, that doesn't make your piracy or your asset stealing illegal. You have actually committed two crimes in that situation. You've stolen the assets, and you've also pirated a video game or, video game software.
Yep.
So also check the type of distribution.
Like, honestly, I want a copy of Final Fantasy XI that's my own copy, that's my own private server that only I can affect. I want run speed that isn't abysmal like this. Look how bad this fucking run speed is. It's like the worst run speed in the history of gaming. It's so slow. Like, look how long it takes me to run a circle around this tiger. He wasn't a good example. I'm just gonna summon one. It's good. Oh, I'm out of... I mean, now I can just probably try charming again. There we go. So I can tell him to stay for a second, right? Stay for a second. Yep. And so watch how long it takes me to run a circle around this tiger. It's like, so here's the left side of him. Let's get back to the left side of him again, right? 1, 2, 3, 4... 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 whole seconds, right? Now, let's run a circle around this dead mob's corpse in this game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like double the speed, right? And I would say this game's run speed sucks too. So I want copies of MMOs that where I can upgrade the run speed, all the things that they cripple in the game, like how much inventory space you can have, or like all that stupid shit that developers do to just basically like take your power away until you earn it back. I want that stuff out of my games. And that's one of the things about private servers I never really understood, is they seem to really want to maintain era, but there's certain things like run speed that I think they should improve. And I'm not talking like I need like the kind of run speed that I put in, let's say, Skyrim when I mod it. But I wouldn't mind, I'd say about double the run speed that I have right here. About double, I'd say. About the same as the sprint, right? I want this speed all the time, because this isn't even that fast. See it? This is not even that fast. It would still take you a long, long time, even at this speed, to run across the zone. You know, see it? Long time, like 10 minutes, something like that. So I don't know why they ruin us with this bullshit inventory management stuff, the run speed. And that's one of my things about, like, I would never resell the game, but I do believe in pirated MMO private servers where their ineptitude and the shit that they add to it to make your time less fun and their time more time sink is in their product more time sink. Time sink is what I'm talking about. Like when I've done the QFIM run 45,000 times in my life in Final Fantasy XI, I should be able to skip it. You know?
Epic Store. In my humble opinion, part of your license violates the Unreal...
When I was depressed and I was considering suicide again for the second time, and I got better, and I'm not like that anymore, got better, is right before I was in the madhouse, and I lost the love of my life because the man had threatened to kill her, and then had attacked me, and I had to put him in jail. And I was very depressed, and I was close to being suicidal, and I got better. But one of the things that was really making it hard for me to want to continue living was I was at that time a terrible Final Fantasy XI addict, and I was playing the Nozomi server and doing the run from QFIM to Juno every single time I joined a party, every single time I wanted to sell something, every single time I did anything at all, I had to do the QFIM run over and over and over and over and over again. Tens of thousands of times, 20, 40, 60 times a day, 7 minutes and 39 seconds every single time. I used to clock it. 7 minutes and 39-second run from the port to the fucking QFIM zone, or to the Juno zone without flee, right? Which is like sprint in this game. And I was very close to death because I knew that I couldn't stop playing Final Fantasy XI. I was near death, and I just had nothing else to do. I didn't have a girlfriend anymore. I didn't have a life. I wasn't a drug dealer. I was close to being in the madhouse. I had PTSD from attempted murder, and I was freezing in the winter and I was squatting, and I couldn't stop playing Final Fantasy XI because it was the only thing bringing me any sort of like happiness at all. And that QFIM run over and 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 over again. Towards the end, I was like, if I have to do another QFIM run, I think I'll just go do something, and I'm gonna leave it there. I was like, if I have to do this run again, if I can't get enough control in my life to make myself not want to do this run anymore, I will just, I will just move on with my life. And that's an example of how bad their time sink can actually get when it affects your morale so badly at the weakest moments of your life. It can be incredibly damaging. That time sink 7 minute and 39-second run tens of thousands of times. I had on my Nozomi count, I think it was like 460 days, I think. And most of it was that QFIM run. And the run from the QFIM outpost to the big city Juno. And I don't know why these private server assholes can't seem to get a clue when it comes to that. But really, the inventory management and the run speed are the only reason you would ever have a private server in the first place, in my opinion. Either that and either that or it would be mismanagement by the development team, which is what happened with Final Fantasy XI. So now I'm in this place where I think of all the QFIM runs in my life because of their demands over time sync and stuff like that. Like, how many times in my life have I run to Stormwind? How many times have I made a character in WoW? Did I really need to make that many characters? Couldn't I just have had one? I just, I sort of, like, I don't know. I just sort of, like, I struggle with some of their time sync stuff in a way where it does affect my morale so badly that it could potentially put me in the ground. I find myself doing time grinds that just aren't acceptable in 2023. And I can't, I feel like the lack of control over my life. I mean, I got better, by the way. I'm not having those thoughts anymore. I didn't let it get that bad. I stopped doing it to myself. I just stopped playing the game. I just stopped doing it for like a year and a half. I just stopped playing Final Fantasy XI. I was like, I can't do the QFIM run anymore. I can't do this to myself anymore. And that grind is real. This conversation I'm having here, or not conversation, but this soliloquy that I'm delivering, I've heard it countless times out of other MMO addicts, right? Where literally, if they have to consider doing another run for Ashes of Alar, they'll just quit the game, right? Because the amount of time sink that one item caused them is catastrophic to their lives. Catastrophic to their lives. Like, literally really negative to their fucking lives. And that is why I would have done a private server ever. It's the only reason I would ever do it. Otherwise, why not just pay retail and get around the problems of playing on retail and make your own community? And if you need classic, just make a classic rule set like Hardcore did for WoW before it was ever an actual server rule set. And just make your own rules, And this is how I felt about it. But now, so now I'm thinking, why can't we steal Final Fantasy XI, change the assets, improve the speed, and try to turn it into a version of Diablo where you can hold down a button and it spams the macro until you're out of mana or whatever. And I think you would have the best RPG ever made. I think if you were to speed up Final Fantasy XI, I think you'd have like the best RPG ever made, maybe. And it's weird because it's like we don't know what's possible. The modding scene is still in its infancy. It hasn't been around for 100 years. We don't know truisms and what needs to be done. We don't know theories and laws of nature about it. We don't know laws of averages with it yet. We don't know what's possible yet. We don't know what they can do to Starfield yet to make it a good game. And people are working on that right now as we speak. So I struggle with this thing about why should we live with the developers' mistakes anymore? I look at the Rust Hardcore Zombie server, which literally has like none of the problems of Rust. I mean, it has the offline problems. That's it. And even then, it only has those problems if you make an enemy. Otherwise, you don't have it. You just don't even have the offline problems on the Rust Hardcore Zombie server either. So it has like none of the problems of original Rust. It has more content than original Rust and better content than original Rust. And it gives you an idea of what the modding scene can actually do when it comes to defeating the developers' fucked up, shitty mistakes that destroy our lives. The
editor part in Epic Store for distribution. Don't get me wrong, my intention is to just become your friend, to understand what happened and not have difficulty with our game.
Oh, I'm paralyzed.
So,
God
again,
damn it.
reading this letter makes me also think that the guy behind this game,
I'm paralyzed.
might be working with
God
artists
damn it.
that have possibly stolen assets, and they just never told it to the developers here.
There,
That
I got
might
him.
be the only saving grace. Remember, as a small development team, you may understand that when you're working with random people, they might bring illegal assets to your work, but it's still
like Dark and Darker.
on your ass, okay?
Like Dark and
It's up to you
Darker.
to do the
Yep.
due diligence
You have to
that
do
you're
the
not
due
using
diligence.
anything
Steam has to do
illegal
the
in
due
your work,
diligence.
okay?
Yep.
Especially when you're sending out a final product.
Absolutely.
So in another response to Connor here, he says that I already replied to you in my previous email. Do whatever we think is right for you, which is a discussion of possible legal action. I state again that the meshes in my asset packages are not those in the packages you indicate in your emails. The ones I have a smaller number of polygons, the UV maps don't work, and the physics are badly reconstructed. In short, the ones I have are very poorly made and would need to be rebuilt from scratch. I honestly don't think it's your job, but if you think so, continue legally as well. I'm ready. So here he claims that he's basically being slandered in this situation, when at the end of the day, there really isn't any slander. We've looked at the actual assets, the screenshots between both games, and they are very, very suspiciously close to one another, okay? So it really leads anybody to logically believe that you've kind of been stealing from the game. So another creator, known as Big Fry, was received this. Hey Big Fry, who also covered this situation like me. Could you kindly remove the video or contents which contain my references? I don't want to proceed with the strike and fuel controversies. So where they're showing a privacy complaint process, this is why I remove like everybody's name, email address, IP address, blood type from my channel, okay? Just because anytime I deal with talking about these individuals, they always jump to the privacy complaints and try to remove videos, okay? Don't do that, all right? Trust me, I will do everything in my power to make sure that YouTube doesn't have a reason to remove videos for privacy reasons. So again, Blue Drake goes out and reaches out to Seba Games, the company behind Venator, and basically said, we gotta sue you, okay? We have to actually sue you since you appear to be stealing our assets. So Connor says, A, please stop threatening and taking down other channels. Absolutely, you shouldn't be threatening creators. Have you ever heard of the Streisand effect? People talk about your situation. The only reason I'm hearing about this is I've seen this float around my feed too many times. Then it was shut down all your multiplayer services and then provide additional assurances in the form of a signed agreement with penalties if our work is ever discovered in the game a second time. Which I think is fair enough to say. If you've poured in your own money, your own time to develop assets for your game, especially as an indie game developer and somebody who is basically releasing their project for free. So here Drake actually says, we're basically $1,000 into legal fees, right? And that was just the first day of this action. So again, if the other developer, the Venator developer, isn't actually liquid, meaning they don't have money on top right now, then if you get to the point where, you know, they're basically owing 20 grand in legal fees and $100,000 in damages, their studio basically shuts down. But the thing is, legal action, and nobody wants to be sued, okay? Nobody ever wants to be sued. So here, Momi, one of the people from their Discord, says, if you're sure of what you say and the evidence you claim to possess, we invite you to proceed in full force of your rights. We invite you to stop threatening this community with your lies. This is a warning, which we are forced to give you, and which is imposed on us by our legislature. Next time, you will be banned. Now look, at the end of the day, we have to really nip the butt if this is actually like asset stealing. Based on the evidence that I've seen that's been presented, the accusation has a lot of merit, okay? And it really seems like even if you change some of the assets, even if you do change some of that asset stuff going on, the problem is it's still the core asset underneath. And it baffles me again. There should be so much free stuff available, stuff that you can buy third party. So I don't know how this happened. I have to assume that the core developer for Venator, even if they are acting in a scummy manner, to give them, if I had to give them any, if I had to give them any charity in this situation, maybe they worked with another developer or not, or an artist that may have presented illegal material. But it is up to them to make sure that they do not put that in the final release of their game. Look, at the end of the day, Venator looks like a crappy extraction shooter anyway, so I wouldn't really bother going into it. But this is one of the things about the indie gaming scenes. This is a bad example of how they a good example of how, in the worst ways, they do cannibalize themselves. Right?
They do, yeah.
Obviously, stealing assets is never okay. Asset flipping is always a shady practice, at best. And when it comes to a situation like this, it probably would have been just easier to remove those blatantly obvious assets and start replacing them around with something that is obviously more unique to your game. It really seems like this game exists for these guys to create like a subpar extraction shooter and charge $40 for it, because nothing that Venator does is especially new, something that Escape from Tarkov doesn't already do. Honestly, it might be better for you to just buy that game, as crappy as Escape from Tarkov can be in regards to its cheating situation. That might be something that is down your alley. But ladies and gentlemen, I think threatening creators with lawsuits is about the dumbest thing that you can do. Because if you thought this situation wouldn't blow up now, it's going to exacerbate as well. If anything, the good thing about this situation is to tell you guys that Operation Harsh Doorstep exists. So if you're somebody on my channel that loves military-type shooters, there you go. You learned about a new game today, okay? And you can give that your support. But for a developer like this, it might have just been easier to take the L, apologize, remove assets, and just contract something new. Ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Mudahar, and yeah. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah, it was good.
Dislike it if you dislike it.
Very informative.
Hello, guys and gals. Me,
Thank you, some ordinary gamers have liked and subbed to your channel.
Mudahar. And I know I've been talking a lot about the internet browser controversies recently, and it's important to me because, as you know, I like talking about computer malware, virus investigating, and computer privacy and safety on this channel, okay? And Google Chrome's one of those browsers that is quite possibly the most popular browser in the world, okay? There are unborn fetuses, I would assume right now, in the womb, browsing their first crappy article through Google Chrome right now, okay? I know that's a bit of hyperbole, but what isn't a hyperbole is Google's IP protection. Now, this is something you might have heard from a channel that's in the sphere as well, too. Somebody known as Mental Outlaw. Kenny also covered this as well, but it's been in my radar as well, too. Just because a lot of big companies these days, Google, Apple, well, really anyone in the space, has now started to basically sell you privacy, okay? Apple is kind of one of these companies that's like privacy focused first. And they started what I would call the first Trojan horse into, I guess, selling this privacy to people. And it was called Safari Private Relay. So if you pay for iCloud, or you pay for any of their like subscription services, you can actually route your iPhone's traffic through Apple's private relays.
Wow.
So the entire idea for this is to mask your IP address and prevent cross-site tracking, which is a pretty serious thing. I've always talked about browser fingerprinting in my past, okay? If you touch a website, for instance, I connected to, I don't know, iplocation.net. iplocation.net tells me exactly what it pulls out of my system from my IP address, okay? So this is my IP address. It's hopefully blurred for you. And of course it gives the city that I live in, and of course my postal code. A postal code is kind of like a zip code for Americans watching. I think the rest of the world uses postal codes. It's like the metric system, okay? Everyone uses it, but goddamn Americans. Now, I love you Americans. I love it a lot, okay? But trust me, feet, inches, yards, miles, it'll never hit me. Like centimeters and meters and kilometers and so on and so forth. But that general location, the actual postal code it gives me, is in the city of Hamilton, pretty much downtown, between Corktown and Delta East. Now, I've never been in this part of Hamilton in my life. And generally, an IP address gives you the closest approximate location, not to your address, mind you, to a data center that is obviously connected to an internet service provider. Now, of course, it's linking me to Hamilton, which I don't live in this city. I live close, but I don't live anywhere in that immediate region. So again, IP addresses have gotten this sort of like weird, mystifying like allure to them over the years. People think that just because you get somebody's IP address, you know exactly what their actual home location is. And that couldn't be further from the truth. The reality is IP addresses pretty much just link to the actual data center or the data point that you're communicating from your house to the broader internet of large is about the most simplest way that I can put it. An IP address doesn't actually give your exact location. So whenever somebody threatens you on the internet and says, I just grabbed your IP, ooh, I know where you live, you can call them out on their bullshit, okay? If they tell you that I know your IP, it's 192.168.0.1, then you know they're full of crap because that's an internal IP address. Now, the reason why I'm worried about it as a Canadian is there are two types of IP addresses. There's the static IP address and the dynamic IP address. You want the dynamic IP address because it changes every time you pull out your modem and you put it back in. If you have a static IP address, like pretty much everyone in Canada, then it never changes at all. So one of the reasons why I use like a VPN service, or really any VPN service, is to basically mask an IP address. And that's literally because the moments that I stream, some scumbag will have my IP address that they grabbed from some peer-to-peer game back in the day, like Grand Theft Auto Online, or, you know, just it's floating around on the internet, it's probably in a dock somewhere, and they'll shut down my router as I'm streaming. It's annoying, I don't enjoy it, but that's one of the reasons why masking an IP makes a lot of sense, at least for me. For the average consumer, it's not really the end of the world if somebody gets your IP address. Do you know that every time you connect to a fucking web page, they get your IP address? It's how these IP location websites work, alright? Anyways, now that I've given you the lesson on IP addresses, and why you probably shouldn't be crapping yourself wholesale, is because beyond just your IP address, your browser gives a lot more information about you than you would think. For instance, it knows that I'm on Linux, it knows the fork of Chrome that I'm using. It hasn't identified Brave, but it does say Chrome, because I'm using Chromium. It's identified the screen size of the window that I'm using, and of course, if I'm on desktop, mobile, or even a tablet. So again, all of this tiny information that it grabs off of me, it can all be amalgamated and used by trackers out in the field to basically figure out who is who. So your browser fingerprint, when you ping through various websites, they're loaded with trackers, okay? Trackers are effectively tools that are used to scan what browser fingerprint connects to what. So the thing is, if you create a unique browser fingerprint, which most usually are, even if you hide your IP address or you hide your name and all that sensitive information you think of, the profile for your browser is still the same no matter where you go. So again, sites are filled with trackers, and some of the largest networks are Google, Facebook, Adobe, Amazon, Oracle, Tower Data, Rubicon, AppNexus. Now this number's changed a fair bit, but Google is still very much at the top. And they know basically what fingerprint is going where. They have a rough idea of somebody's profile on the internet, even if they don't have your name, your number, your IP address, so on and so forth. That's just how this works. So again, if you're talking about somebody tracking you, they're probably the one company that's number one in the field, okay? Them, Amazon, Facebook, so on and so forth. Now recently, Google Chrome has brought up this IP masking shit in their Google Chrome browser, right? So for instance, if you use Google Chrome, they want to actually implement. So what's happening now is Google is now the next company after Apple that's selling you privacy by implementing something known as IP protection, or NAT catcher. Now, interestingly enough, reading through this, we're going to go through, it's a bit dry, but please bear with me. As browser vendors make efforts to provide their users with additional privacy, browser vendors being Firefox, Brave, I think Opera GX as well, a lot of browsers provide privacy features. The user's IP address continues to make it feasible to associate users' activities across origins that otherwise wouldn't be possible.
They need
that's
IP.
True. The IP address is just one identifier in like hundreds of browser identifiers. So yeah, it's actually true how Google is saying it, but it's a bit, they're not really focusing on what I just told you a couple minutes ago. This information can be combined over time to create a unique, persistent profile and track an activity across the web, which represents a threat to their privacy. Absolutely true. Unlike third-party cookies, there's no straightforward way for users to opt out of this kind of covert tracking. And that's also true. Using things like incognito mode or do not track mode or even hardened browsers just changes up your fingerprint a little bit. Think about it like this. If you're going to a website that 100 people connect to every day and you want to be hidden amongst them, 99 of them are just using Google Chrome downloaded from the internet. You're the only one with a different hardened browser. Well, your fingerprint is going to be uniquely identifiable in a list, so even if you try to hide your traffic or your internet or your profile, you will still somewhat be shared by trackers in the internet of large. That's why privacy by blending in is better than like privacy with obscurity, because with obscurity, you stand out a lot more than anyone else. So again, what they have basically done is introduced IP masking into their browser. So how this works is basically browsers are moving against cross-site tracking. Chrome is actually phasing out third-party cookies and limiting fingerprinting, which is great. One way to limit is by limiting sources of identifiable information such as IP addresses. An IP is an effective cross-site identifier as it is highly unique, relatively stable, cheap to collect. And if you live in the US, if you feel like your IP is compromised and you know you have a dynamic provider, pull out your modem, stick it back in, it'll change. Boom, you're good, you're gravy. So what they've done over here is introduced a proxy. I guess you could kind of think of it like a VPN, but basically you are tunneling information through Google to basically mask your IP address, which is the same way that Safari does it with like the private Apple relays. You're basically routing yourself through company proxies. So what they have done is they basically monopolized who gets to look at your data. So at the end of the day, there's a million questions to ask, right? If you're routing your information with Google, right, you have to wonder to yourself, who's handling HTTPS, the browsers, the proxy servers, so on and so forth. See, what it feels like to me is Google has realized this is valuable information, and so is Apple, so is a bunch of these other companies that are now selling you privacy, and they're just saying, route your information through us, it's totally cool, okay? We're not gonna look into your information, pinky promise, but they're also limiting competition from looking into your traffic as well, too. These guys are going to be the sole arbiter of all information that is sent around the world. And again, through the Google Chrome browser, and this is just an experiment, but again, experiments, when successful, become pretty widespread in the internet of large. So what they've done is they said that IP-based geolocation is used by a swath of services within proxy third-party traffic to comply with local laws. So again, their privacy proxy will assign IP addresses that represent the user's course location. So when you're browsing, for instance, me in Hamilton, it might route me to like maybe another city or in that same city, but just a different centralized location for their data centers as well. So again, nothing so overly different than what my ISP is doing anyways. Remember, IPs do not give your home address, okay? They don't even give close to the home address in some cases. So according to when people expect this to show up, it's somewhere around January 2024. So about a month from now, we expect this to be showing up in Chrome 122. Now, at the end of the day, I don't say that this is necessarily wrong, because at the end of the day, what Google is wanting is for this to be opt-in, meaning that if you want to add extra privacy, you can. Now, initially, this will be opt-in, but Google does have an intention to make this a default setting down the road, where they write, hey, we plan to publish more details on our timeline. We expect to launch IP protection as an opt-in feature initially, which will later become the default setting. And if it's one thing we know about default settings and the antitrust lawsuits that Google themselves are facing is when something is defaulted, people will never go and uncheck it, okay? Nobody wants to dig through settings, and especially when it comes to IP masking, which the way that they describe it, most people will keep it on without ever realizing that, hey, it's just letting one group tunnel me instead of, I guess, everyone else, which for some people might be better or not, but at the end of the day, you are actually trusting the world's most invasive company on the internet with your information that's being sent all across the world, okay?
Aggro.
So again, ladies and gentlemen, privacy and safety on the internet is something that I'm very much paramount on. And one of the best ways that you can defend yourselves is quite literally by just blending in, all right? I mean, instead of using Google Chrome's browser, which one day wants to funnel everyone through their proxies, through their services for, again, God knows what reason. Remember, this is like Google's biggest moneymaker, right? Playing with your personal information. And if you feel like you don't want to be a contributor to that, then you should absolutely think of maybe switching to other browsers. Maybe at this point, I'm already going to switch off from Brave to like something else. I might even just go back to Firefox. I may go to like an entirely different browsing engine at this point, because it gets to me that this whole situation has become shadier over and over as the years go by. And what shows up in Google Chrome, I have to basically sit there at goodwill with every other Chromium-based developer and just go, maybe they'll eliminate this feature, maybe they won't. Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the day, routing your information through Google, your internet information for the sake of privacy is a little bit wild, okay? It's a little bit insane. But ladies and gentlemen, we've entered a world where companies who once openly invaded you have realized that people do care about their privacy. So let's let the biggest tech firms in the world sell you privacy, which may or may not really even be true privacy. Which, is it really better if one group is just looking at you versus 2 or 3 other on the internet? I don't know. It's up to you. Ladies and gentlemen,
I don't trust the future of Chrome right now. But I guess that's I guess most people are kind of feeling that way. Ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Mudahar, and if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike if you dislike. I'm out.
Yeah, it was good. I had no idea. Yeah, the economy is fake. The jobs are fake. The money is fake. Zombie corporations killed the world. Uh-oh. Oh, is it Bellular, though? It is Bellular. I don't like Bellular.
Hello, guys and gals. Me.
Oh, wow. Sure. Let's see what this guy has to say. There's been a bunch of these, and I find them fascinating, I must admit, so I'm going to watch them. Downward Thrust, thank you for the excellent content for my stream. I'd like to sub to your channel. The lasers on that gun look awesome, I gotta say.
Fallout and Elder Scrolls franchises have always been a huge part of my life, so I was extremely excited to get my hands on Starfield.
Me too.
Bethesda promised some big things with this game, and while I do find some charming things about Starfield, after almost 200 hours played, I do feel disappointed in more ways than one. So I welcome you to join me as we dissect Bethesda's latest epic spacefaring RPG, Starfield.
I should do a video on YouTube, just a little 5-minute video on YouTube of what my opinion of Starfield is. Because I think it's unique. I believe Starfield is a good game, and I believe it is a 9.2, but I don't believe it'll be a good game or a 9.2 for another 5 years. But the modders will make it a good game, and I think we'll be thankful we have Starfield in the end, like all of everything else Bethesda ever made. And I would like to just do a video saying that all these guys made these long, drawn out. I would like to just do a sweet little, maybe almost TikTok length video of what I thought about Starfield. Mentioned that after 18 hours, I experienced a bug where I stole a ship and then I was rendered defenseless in space because of it, and I couldn't get any guns on any ships that I had. And I lost a 20-hour playthrough because of it. And then I would like to say that I do believe Starfield is, despite all this, after quitting the game 20 hours later, after 45 hours or whatever it was, 48 hours, I was like, yeah, it's a good game. It's just not my game. And I want to do a video saying that.
Part 1. Exploration. Being a Bethesda game, one might say that's the most important.
It was not even fun to explore the way that even No Man's Sky was like 5 years ago. It was not a good exploration game at all, in my opinion. It was good for 2 hours. And then I was like, this is frankly boring. I didn't even want to fight the mobs in the world anymore. I was like, yeah, the XP system isn't good enough. The chart isn't good enough. The jetpack isn't good enough. Like,
designing and promoting immersive, player-driven exploration.
Exploration, I did not think it had anything good.
Is something often said about Bethesda games.
Yeah.
Seeing a landmark and deciding